Good afternoon and welcome. Welcome indeed. Yes, to a Tuesday edition of the Mark Mosey Show, only right here on the beautiful Space Coast area of Florida. And yes, we're always broadcasting live from the Anidjar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Take back control of your life. Call them today. Yes, Anidjar and Levine, Accident Attorneys. I'm now joined to vent about what the hell happened the last two nights in the world of football. Alan Zlotorzynski-Brevard Sports Network. Alan, how you doing today, buddy?
Better than you, and better than yesterday. So we'll just leave it at that.
Are you sure about that? Are you sure?
I'm good. Yeah, listen. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Okay. Let's start here.
Okay.
So Sunday night, here's what happened to me. Sunday night, I watched most of your game, Buffalo and Baltimore.
Right. Yes, you did.
I see Baltimore is up big. They're up big. And I congratulated you because I'm a jerk. 4 minutes ago, I'm like, hey, big win, big statement. Lamar's great. You got an MVP-style running back as well. This is it. AFC goes through you. I turn the game off. I start watching something else, and I come back and what?
The text from you was, okay, I texted you back, and I said, same old Ravens. And your text was, what? Wait, you lost?
Okay, all right. I have to say this. So mathematically, there are 4 minutes to go. You are up 15 points. Your brain is probably thinking, okay, then Buffalo probably got the ball twice, scored 2 touchdowns and an extra point, 2-point conversion. No. Three possessions and 4 points. What happened, Alan, in that football game?
Well, let me preface by saying this. I know people have seen the crazy numbers that surround this. Caleb can verify this for me.
Okay.
When Tyler Loop missed the extra point and it became a 16-point game, I looked at him and I said these very words: the Buffalo Bills will win this football game 41-40. And he looked at me and he said, "You are crazy." And I said, "You're not a Ravens fan. You have not seen this before. This is John Harbaugh, and this team will find a way to lose this football game. And I'll be damned if they didn't." The Ravens were really in a no-win situation here, at least with me, they were. Because if they go into Orchard Park and they hammer the Buffalo Bills, I'm sitting here with you today and I'm saying, yes, it's a good win, but they hammered them last year on Sunday Night Football as well. And it meant absolutely nothing in January. My hope is that the script is flipped. So they get this out of their system now so that these things don't happen in January. This would have been a nice win. Listen, if you go back to my Facebook page on Sunday before the game, I basically wrote, Mark, that what happened Sunday night was a real possibility because that's how this football team loses games. No football team that I can ever remember in the history of the NFL do we talk about that is so freaking great but cannot win big games under the brightest lights. I can never remember a team this good because that's the best team in the National Football League. I don't care what anybody says. They are.
I agree. And you know what you're going to do?
Cannot win these games.
You know what they're going to do, Alan? Now they're going to go back to 1 o'clock kickoffs on Sunday. They're going to rattle off like 8 wins. You're going to be about 8-2. And then there's going to be another primetime game. I love you like a brother, but I know your hair must be just falling out after the last 3 seasons.
Well, I think that there has to be. I think that you have to find a common denominator in all this. If the goal is truly to win the Super Bowl, which for this franchise it is, okay? Listen, if you think about it, the Ravens should have. I'm not saying they would have been Super Bowl champs, but realistically, they should have been in the last 2 Super Bowls. They outplayed Kansas City at home in the AFC Championship game and served that one up to them on a platter. Okay, they should have beat the Bills in Buffalo last year in the divisional round. I don't know if they beat Kansas City, but they at least get the game back home again. I think they do. So the bottom line is this. I say this a lot. I don't care what this team does from September until December, because it's all about what happens in January. Now, I got to be honest. I didn't see this coming in week 1, but the common denominator here is John Harbaugh. And a lot of people can say, there's still a lot of controversy that surrounds the whole Gruden replacing Dungy thing, right, in Tampa. But they brought a different voice in for a year. Some things changed in Tampa for that season. Whether you love or you hate John Gruden, they won the Super Bowl, right? So I'll say that, and then Dungy eventually got his in Indianapolis. But I'll say this. I don't think this football team under John Harbaugh will win a Super Bowl in the Lamar Jackson era. I just think that when you have, in his career, he's got 17 double-digit leads blown. That's the most since 1991. Just in the Lamar Jackson era, this team has blown 8 double-digit fourth-quarter leads. I mean, Mark, you can't do that. And when you do that, that falls on coaching.
That was 40 points. 40 points on
Mark,
the road. 40 points that you don't win.
NFL teams were 277-0. The Ravens became the first team ever to lose a game in which they scored at least 40 points, rushed for over 235 yards. Before Sunday night, that happened 277 times, and teams had never lost. And it was the 8th time, not just in the Lamar Jackson era, but the 8th time since 2021. It is ridiculous that this continues to happen. And I believe it's high time that John Harbaugh, because look, every one of these double-digit fourth-quarter losses are because of the same things: piss poor time management, conservative offenses down the stretch, bad situational football. All of that is coaching, Mark. It's all coaching. And for some reason, this team loses its swagger and its confidence in the final 5 minutes of football games. I don't know why that is, but it happens consistently. And look, I can't tell you how many games there are where they had double-digit leads and barely held on to win them. Like, we were beating the Dallas Cowboys last year by 20 points in the fourth quarter and won that game by 3.
Yeah, I remember that game. It's a wild. It's wild.
It's got to stop. And I say if they're that good, they are that good. They will destroy the Cleveland Browns Sunday. They just will. But it means nothing.
We're the Zlotorzynski-Brevard Sports Network. We went 9 minutes. If you want to keep going, you can keep going, buddy.
Well, I just think that, and I don't want to hear snake bit. I mean, some franchises, Mark, are just, they can't get out of their own way. The Cleveland Browns are one of them. And you know what the reason is there, right? I think we got it figured out in Baltimore why this keeps happening. Now it's up to ownership to fix the problem. Listen, I think if the Ravens are anything less than 3-1 by the time they leave Kansas City, the Ravens are a better football team than Kansas City. The Buffalo Bills are a better football team than Kansas City. If the Ravens do not go into Arrowhead Stadium and win that football game, and they lose it anything like they lost Sunday, I don't know that John Harbaugh's the coach the rest of the year.
I think about last week, we talked about, the Dallas Cowboys Netflix series, and you had a span there, 4 years or so, where every NFC title game was San Francisco versus Dallas, right? They were like didn't matter what anyone else was doing in the NFC. Those teams are going to be late in the playoffs. I bring that up because what we've had in the AFC the last couple of years, I think it's going to happen again. Look, it's Buffalo, Baltimore, and Kansas City. And those are the top 3 dogs. I know Cincinnati's a good team, and there's other AFC teams that are good. No. After that game was over Sunday night, these teams are going to see each other again.
Well, I mean, listen, Josh Allen, the Ravens had all of the fire in their belly to go win this football game, right? I mean, everybody and their mother thought Lamar Jackson should have been the MVP last year, right? Oh, yeah, everybody knows the only reason Buffalo went on to play in the AFC Championship game last year was because Mark Andrews drops a 2-point conversion, right? So the Ravens had all the fire to go win this football game. But listen, I give Josh Allen credit. I mean, he threw the Ravens held him to 137 yards through 3 quarters. He threw for 260 yards alone in the 4th quarter, Mark. I mean, the guy had over 400 passing yards in the game, and over half of those yards came in 8 minutes of play. So if it's not John Harbaugh that goes, then Zach or somebody's going to have to take a fall if this continues.
You know what I love? It was week 1. You're going for people's heads, and but the thing with you is, it's not just one. This is a couple years in the making.
Sure.
And
if this just happened, right, once in a blue moon, right, you would go back and look at that game and you would say, you know what? Maybe this is Buffalo's year. They get that touchdown off of that double deflection in the end zone, right? That's lucky, right? But the Ravens still give up nearly 300 passing yards in the quarter. I don't think I've ever seen a secondary that piss poor in 1 quarter. That's terrible.
And again, the last couple of possessions of Baltimore, where you said 40 points, you're running like crazy, you're making all these plays, all of a sudden, fumble, 3 and out. What did Buffalo do there?
Here's the other thing. There's no reason in the world not to go for it on 4th and 3 there, okay? I'm not putting that game at that moment based on what I've just watched Josh Allen do to my defense. I'm not putting that game back in the hands of my defense. But here's the thing that continues to confuse me with Todd Monken. The Ravens come back out onto the football field. The first play they give to Derrick Henry, he loses 3 yards. They take Derrick Henry out of the game on 2nd and 3rd down, Mark. Okay? You're taking I mean, if you're not going to give him the ball, okay, but at least leave him on the field and let he has gouged them for 170 yards. If he's on the field, the Bills got to play for him.
It's a crazy game. You know what it is? At least you ripped the Band-Aid off after week 1. At least this wasn't, hey, 5 weeks of great football, and then this happens. You know now what I get it, dude. It sucks.
You start to wonder a little bit, though, right? You start to wonder, when do these losses, and now they're back-to-back losses for this team like this against the same team, you start to wonder, when do these take a toll? When do things like this begin to divide locker rooms, right? Because we're human. Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry can say, yeah, I fumbled. That's on me. But you guys can't get my back on one freaking stop in the 4th quarter.
Remember, you lose the AFC title game to Kansas City. You start the next year, you're at Arrowhead, and your foot's out of bounds.
Right.
Yeah, that's a great point. Okay, you're going to be fine. You're going to win football games. I'm with you. You're going to win Sunday. All right, let's flip it. All right, I know this is my show. All right, ask the questions to me. I've been waiting for someone to ask me so I can get it out now.
What did you think of the debut of your new head coach, Ben Johnson?
Okay, here's the best way I can describe it. Liam Cohen was also a first-time head coach on Sunday for the Jaguars. He had the fortunate, feel of taking on a high school football team in the Carolina Panthers.
Right.
So all of his mistakes, he's fine. Bryce Young's a bust. Jaguars look good. And I told you, Jaguars are going to be improved, and Jaguars look good on Sunday. They did. Ben Johnson, on the other hand, he took on a very underrated head coach and a defensive coordinator who should be a head coach next year. And I'm amazed Brian Flores, and go ask the Dolphins fans now, Brian Flores should be a head coach in the NFL. They ran circles around Ben Johnson. The difference last night, and we'll get to Caleb Williams in a second, they made adjustments at halftime, and they exposed Ben Johnson as a first-year coach coaching his first game. No adjustments, didn't understand clock management, and the penalties killed the Bears. What was it, like 10 or 11?
You had 12 penalties last night.
12 penalties. That killed. So here's I wanted to bring this up to you personally because you know this. So when Florida Tech used to have a football team, our good friend Steve Englehart, head coach, he's now at Presbyterian. Love me some Coach Englehart, one of the great dudes we've met here in Brevard County. So when I went into his office for one of the first times, and you saw this too, Alan, on the wall, he would tell me the first 10, 15 plays are all scripted.
Yep.
You don't change those. These are the plays we're going to run on offense. That's what Ben Johnson had 9 months to get ready for that opener. Notice this. Caleb Williams started 10 for 10, right? 10 for 10. Then after that, Brian Flores made adjustments. They kept dumping it off. They kept stuffing the box. And all of a sudden, that second half, the Bears were overwhelmed. They're going to get better. But Minnesota was a better team last night, even with their crappy quarterback. They were.
Look, let me say this: I think one of the best head coaches in the NFL, or at least one of the most underrated head coaches in the NFL, is Kevin O'Connell.
I agree.
You know, he comes from that Sean McVay pedigree, right, of coaches, and I think we all know how we feel about McVay's abilities, right? So. I mean, you look at what he did with Sam Darnold, right, last year. J.J. McCarthy last night reminded me of a young Baker Mayfield in that he didn't play well, but Baker was the kind of guy, in his early days back in Cleveland, where if he didn't play well in a half, he didn't care because he knew he would, he'd pick it up. I was impressed with what J.J. McCarthy did. I mean, look, the guy hasn't played a football game in 20 months, and you could see that for the first three quarters. But he was great in that fourth quarter last night. And I think a lot of that has to do with Kevin O'Connell. I think a lot of that has to do with the psyche of J.J. McCarthy. And listen, the Vikings have they got Justin Jefferson, but outside of him, they have a very underrated wide receiving core who's very good. They can run the football. That's a good team, Mark. The question mark was, could J.J. McCarthy be the quarterback?
Yeah, I think here's the gamble, and that's a great point. The gamble they have decided is we're going to go with this young guy, J.J. McCarthy. He has to figure this out in a couple weeks. He's going to make mistakes. And look, he never played an NFL game before last night. He's going to need a couple weeks. Can our superstar defense carry us and get us to a level where we get to the midpoint of the season and that McCarthy can figure this out? And those plays in the fourth quarter, McCarthy, and this is where I wanted to ask you this question. He looked better than Caleb Williams. And Caleb Williams was making his 18th start in the NFL. So that goes to the bigger question. NFL draft. There were 6 quarterbacks taken in that round 1. Caleb Williams does not look like he should have been the number 1 pick in that draft now. Now, he still could be great. After 18 games, I think we all can agree the best quarterback went number 2 to Washington. Hands down.
Yeah,
now,
Jane
Daniels looks like the best quarterback. What's so discouraging was there were times last night Caleb Williams looked like the same quarterback he was last year, where just like He's missing throws. It's there. He's afraid. Now, they upgraded the offensive line, and he's still running for his life. He should have been sacked 7 times last night.
I think he creates. I heard him say something interesting before the game. He was, I think, Melissa Stark. I think that was the name of the lady. Asked him what his game plan was going on and going into the game, and he said something interesting. He said something to the effect that, you know, they were going to start by taking what the Vikings defense was going to give them. He was going to look for plays downfield. And then he said something. He said, and then hero ball when it's necessary. That's what he said. He said, hero ball when it's necessary. I don't think I've ever heard a quarterback say that before. It almost feels like to me he's trying to force hero ball. And in doing so, Mark, he makes some bad decisions, man.
See, this goes to goes back to Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson has special skills. You better make sure you put him in the best situation where he can become Superman and let him do his thing. Okay. Caleb Williams, you saw this late in the game. I know you got a point. I just want to say this.
No, go ahead.
When Caleb Williams, when he gets to scramble around and he can make plays, he is very dangerous. When they're down 2 possessions late, he went right down the field and scored a touchdown. He could be scary and dangerous. That's why this whole season, forget wins or losses. I think Caleb has. I don't think he's as good as Lamar in that. And that's having that skill set. But here's what he can do that Lamar has done. Lamar has become one of this game's premier pocket passers. Yes,
he has, and so I think Caleb Williams needs to shift his focus to becoming a better pocket passer. It has forced Lamar Jackson to become better at reading defenses prior to the snap. Lamar Jackson's football IQ from the first time he stepped onto a field in the NFL to now is absolutely incredible. I watched Lamar Jackson make plays the other night where in the first 3 years of his career, he just would have took off running with the football. Yeah. But he made throws. He made accurate throws. And so I think Caleb Williams can do the same thing, Mark.
Josh Allen took a while to figure it out as well. Josh Allen did not just show up day one and be an MVP style quarterback. It takes time. It does. It's just, there's so much pressure going back to all those quarterbacks that were drafted.
Right.
2 years ago, all of them. And McCarthy looks good. I'll tell the other one. Hey, I think Penix in Atlanta has a chance to be good. He does.
Yeah.
He should have beaten the Buccaneers on Sunday. It's a great quarterback class. I don't know if I could do this every single time where it's open heart surgery and I'm getting my heart ripped out, but
I'm with you, buddy.
Dude, hey, you have Super Bowl aspirations. For me, a guy that my team won 7 games and then 5 games in the last 2 years. Hey, get the 7 seed. If I could get the 7 seed and Caleb Williams plays better, I will take that as a fan. I will. We've not won. I was going to say, we have not won a playoff game, my team, since 2010. 2010.
Yeah.
So, did you get it all out now?
I'm good. Like I said, the Ravens, just to put a bow on the Ravens, for me, it was a no-win situation with them for me because they beat Buffalo. I'm happy they're 1-0. It's a great thing because now we probably have to go back to Buffalo in January. But, for the Ravens, it's about January. And so let's just hope what happened Sunday night doesn't happen in January.
I know the stat for Alan Zlotorzynski. Your Ravens, I don't think have ever won an AFC title game at home. You've only won them on the road.
No, we've only played 2 AFC championship games at home. As a city, 1970 and 2 years ago against the Chiefs.
That's right. Dude, that is a wild stat. Wild.
But look how many. We have 2 Super Bowls with the Ravens. We won a Super Bowl and 3 world championships with the Colts. I mean, it's not like we suck.
So the Bears game, like you said, 11, 12 penalties at home, you're going to lose.
Yep.
Let's switch gears to college football real quick.
Sure.
The Florida Gators, again, over 10 penalties at home, do nothing on offense. And if I would have told you Saturday morning, if I would have told you Alan Zlotorzynski of the Brevard Sports Network, if I would have told you South Florida was going to score 18 points and win at the Swamp, you would have said I was crazy, right? Come on.
All day, Mark. I probably would have committed you.
Is Billy Napier on the hot seat?
Oh my God. Yes, Mark. I mean, you can listen, until Sunday night, this was the worst loss in football all weekend. You know,
yes.
Could you, was there a worse loss in college football over the weekend than this?
Think about this, Alan. Going into the game, Florida was ranked 13th in the country.
Yeah.
Now they're not ranked. That's how. Hey, Notre Dame lost to Miami and had a bye, and they're still ranked in the top 10. Notre Dame didn't play, still ranked. Florida, the disrespect is this is so bad right now. They're not ranked.
You lose, and not only that, you're 18.5-point favorites. 18.5-point favorites, Mark.
And you don't score 18 points.
Right.
In the game.
It was ridiculous. 11 penalties, 103 yards in this one. And then undisciplined stuff, the spitting, all of it, right? I mean, it's Mark, it's just, and then Billy Napier's play calling. It's sad, Mark. It's sad.
That coach at South Florida, Alex Golish, who's done a great job so far, he knew the game plan for the Gators. He knew it right away. He stuffed the box. He dared Lagway to make plays. He shut down the run. All those. When Golish gets a bigger Power 4 job next offseason, he should send a thank you letter to Billy Napier for helping him get there. Look, I got fans who are like, maybe we should get him as the next coach.
I was going to say, how shocked would you be? No. Because listen, what if Florida continues to do this? It won't be like that 6-game stretch against ranked teams last year. They're going to get hammered against some of these teams coming up. I have no hope for them against LSU.
Okay, so they're taking on, I talked about this yesterday, Alan, number 3 LSU. Then I believe it's number 5 Texas, or no, number
7.
5. Yeah. Then you have number 5 Miami, number 7 Texas, and then whatever the hell Texas A&M is, top 20 as well. That's your next 4 weeks. Next 4.
The thing that scares me is South Florida put up nearly 400 total yards of offense in this game. Mm-hmm. That's a lot of yards from a group of 5 team in the Swamp.
Yes, and think about this. The offense for the Gators, they had 1 scoring drive in the second half, and it was from the punt return from Brown, the rookie, the freshman. He returned it. Then there was a 15-yard late hit. So they got the ball at the 20-yard line. That's it. That was the drive. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, and listen, I was really on the Gators bandwagon. If they beat South Florida Saturday, the momentum is crazy. But right now, this loss sets this program back an entire year, because we are exactly where we were 1 year ago when they started just this way. Now he's got to go prove it. And that ladder, I fear Napier can't climb back up this time.
Here's the difference. And I want your opinion on this, Alan. So Ryan Day at Ohio State brought in Chip Kelly to run the offense, and they won a national title. We've seen it so far at Florida State, where Mike Norvell, and by the way, they were an embarrassment last year going 2-10. What did he do? He got Gus Malzahn to help him run the offense. What does Napier do? Nothing. Now, his arrogance says, I'll keep running it. And I don't know if you saw this yesterday at the presser. Napier comes out and says, hey, I'm going to keep running the plays. So he's going down with the ship. That's what he's telling you right now. He's going to go his way.
First of all, some of this falls on DJ Lagway. Lagway, a 58 quarterback rating in this game. That's unacceptable for what he's supposed to be. Okay. Touchdown, a pick. Listen to me. He only had 9 rushing yards in this game, Mark Lagway. So to me, whatever Billy Napier is running scheme wise, when I look at the stats and see 9 rushing yards for DJ Lagway, something tells me he's not using him correctly.
All right. Think of it this way. Lagway did not play in the spring because of injury. Didn't really play in fall camp either because of injury. And then he's out there. He can't run. We saw him be mobile last year, and he was injured last year as well.
Well, you got to at least put some. You got to at least sell it.
Yes.
I mean, you can't just not do it at all, Mark.
All I heard, and I'm guilty of this. Well, Lagway's the man. He's great. He's signing NIL deals with the Jordan brand, Chipotle. Dude, he's making millions of dollars to be the quarterback at Florida, and you come out and you score 16 points. They have not won. Here's your stat. They have not won at Death Valley since 2016 with Jim McElwain when they made the 4th down stop to win the SEC East.
They're not winning Saturday either.
So 9 years, and maybe it'll be 10 years now. He has got to go 3-1 in the next 4 weeks.
And you get outplayed in your own backyard by a journeyman named Byron Brown.
Yeah, you did. And you know what they did also? They didn't spit in the face of their opponent, literally. Okay?
That's what I'm saying. I mean, listen, spitting in the face. Well, I think the shoe throwing was under McElwain, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, shoe throwing was under McElwain. But the bottom line is these are the kinds of things. Since Florida has been relevant a long time, right? So these are the kinds of things that this program continues to do to shoot themselves in the foot.
You get this thing of with the fan base, hey, we should be at a better level. Haven't won the conference in 17 years.
Just because you play in the SEC and just because you play in the state of Florida and just because you won national championships under Steve Spurrier and Urban Meyer 25 years ago doesn't mean jack diddly in 2025.
You've been here longer than me, and I hate having this conversation. I hate piling on. I don't want them to be bad, but I've been here since 13. I had to cover Muschamp, McElwain, Mullen. That's 3 M's, by the way. Now Napier, and my brain's getting mentally prepared for another press conference.
Let me tell you something. Every one of those guys that you just mentioned, when they were hired, I thought were good hires.
Yeah, and then you get the job.
Right.
And it's like, what's the buyout? That's always the big question.
Yeah, I thought those guys were good hires. I really did. I always thought college football in Florida. And I don't know, I know it doesn't tie in, but I always thought it took a really big hit when Jimbo Fisher left. You know what I'm saying? I know it was Florida State, ACCs, not the SEC, but I always just thought that stung the state when Fisher left. I did.
He won a national title.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. I mean, him and Jameis Winston. So, yeah.
I'll just say this. South Florida just put up a fight against Miami for 4 quarters. If you can go to 2-1 and then get ready for conference play, I think they got something there.
I also see it. Listen, what'd you say? Miami was 9 in a row last year, right? They beat up on a Bethune-Cookman last week. Carson Beck, though, breaks Vinny Testaverde's record with 15 straight completions to start the game. I think Carson Beck, coming from Georgia to Miami, he could be the difference this year for a Canes team that won't choke.
All right, that's college football for right now, and it appears neither of us will be at Billy Napier's wedding as the best man giving the speech.
Or any of our Gators fans, our friends, right? Because they're not liking us right now.
No, and I want the Gators to be good, but you can't lose those types of games. Just watch them. Watch they beat LSU. Just to drive everyone crazy.
But I'm going to say this. I don't care if they beat LSU or not. This will, let's say the Gators go on and they just completely blow this off and they go on. They only lose 2 more games the rest of the year. That game right there keeps them out of the college football playoff.
You can't lose that game. They did.
Nope.
You can't lose that game. All right, let's end with high school football. I want you to know, I watched you, and I'm flipping around. I want you to know the O'Galley Commodores. Forget Cocoa. We'll get to Cocoa in a second. O'Galley, that fourth quarter by them at home. I know your boys, Anthony and Caleb, were on the call at Brevard Sports Network. It looked like they were going to choke the game away, and they lose an onside kick late in the fourth quarter. And I texted Coach Sands the next day and congratulated him because his defense finally said, enough, no mas. And they shut the door down. I know their offense, backup quarterback, they're not putting up big points, but they had the last couple weeks, after losing to Vero, they look like a team that wants to win football games. I am impressed by O'Galley. That was a great fourth quarter by their defense. I want you to know that. I like what O'Galley's doing. So I wanted to start with a positive here.
Yeah, listen, I'm calling it winning ugly.
Yes, it was.
It's winning ugly. Their win over Rockledge wasn't pretty, but it was a win over a rival. Heritage has one of the best high school football defensive minds in the state in Mark Ainsley. Yeah. So you knew Ainsley was going to give O'Galley fits because they don't have their starting quarterback. O'Galley ran a wildcat package, and listen, they scored enough points to win the football game. The thing is, and Chris Sands and his staff can certainly sustain this, but I don't. And maybe this helps O'Galley finally start humming offensively. You know what I mean? But you're right about the defense, because in the weeks prior, what we saw against Rockledge was they gave up 2 big 70-yard touchdown plays, right? They didn't do that against Heritage. In fact, the defense only gave up, I believe, just 1 touchdown in the game, because Heritage's other score came from a kick return. Now, with that said, O'Galley's got to get their offensive struggles fixed, because they have 3 really good players. Jordan Padala, the quarterback, is good. The running back freshman, Draven Lee, is good. John White is good. They have a really good wide receiver in Nathaniel Owens. They're going to play Cocoa this week. They're getting Cocoa at a time to where if Heritage gets any offense at all, they got a chance, Mark. They have a chance to win this football game. We'll see. But if Heritage brings out the offense that they had against Seminole and O'Galley, Cocoa's going to beat them, and may beat them pretty good.
You wrote a great article over the weekend with Brevard Sports Network about the current state of Cocoa football. I loved reading it. I know you sent it to me first. I appreciate that, by the way. I got the exclusive subscriber insight look into your articles. It was great. Cocoa is struggling. They got embarrassed at Vero Beach. Who we kidding? We got to be honest. They did. And Vero's a great team. They put a big one on O'Galley as well to start the year. Cocoa, or I'm going to let you do it. When's the last time Cocoa, and this is an amazing stat, when's the last time they lost to a Brevard County team in a regular season game?
November 19th, 2019.
What a stat.
They've won 26 straight over Brevard County teams, and the average margin of victory is 47-11. That's a running clock. Okay. So, but I don't see that the next 2 weeks. They're going to play Cocoa or going to play Heritage. And listen, they're going to play an O'Galley team. Now, O'Galley has the hardest game on the schedule this week. They're playing the 9th-ranked team in the state in the First Academy Royals. Now, First Academy, you look at First Academy and you go, well, they're 1-2. What are you talking about? Well, their losses are from the number 5 team in Georgia and I think the number 2 team in Tennessee or Alabama, right? And they're by a combined 10 points. So this is a very good football team they're playing. O'Galley is not going to win this thing ugly, okay? So they're going to need to go out there and play their best to get this victory. But by the time they go to Cocoa next week, they will have already played Vero Beach, Rockledge, Heritage, and the First Academy. That is a pretty tough schedule. And I got to be honest with you, if we just take the Vero Beach game and you're looking for the better team, well, that's got to be O'Galley, right?
Look, Cocoa should be 0-3. They got lucky at Merritt Island. But you brought this up. What was the record last year to start the year? Wasn't it 500?
Listen, yeah. I mean, 3 years ago, they were 2-3 after 5 weeks. So, there is a difference between those 3 teams and this team. I do see a little more struggle. I see more struggle on the offensive side of the football. And let's not forget those losses that Cocoa incurred the last 3 years when they were 3-3 and 2-3 and 2-2. They were losing to IMG, St. Thomas Aquinas, right? That's who those losses came to.
Hey, let's just say this. Cocoa last year, their quarterback is a Division I prospect who's now on the roster at Texas A&M.
Threw a pass for Texas A&M Saturday.
Him and then his best wide receiver at Cocoa last year is now a wide receiver for the Florida State Seminoles.
Caught his first college touchdown Saturday.
Yes. So, well, it appears you and me scored in that game as well. All right. Florida State scored 11 touchdowns.
Yeah.
I thought Long Island was a made-up school. I didn't know there was an East Texas A&M University, but it appears Florida State killed them. What I'm trying to say is, yeah, they replaced a lot.
10 starters on offense.
Yeah, there's still time to turn it around, but right now, Cocoa you got to hit the panic button.
Yeah, I don't think we're gonna listen. 18 straight years of Final Fours or better, state champion, 3 straight state championships, and like I wrote in the article, if they get beat by Heritage or O'Galley, and if they're not in the state championship, and if they're not practicing on Thanksgiving, it's okay. Relax. I understand.
Real quick before I bring up the schedule, what game did you call last Friday night?
I had MCC and team out of Boca Raton, and MCC just they continue to shoot themselves in the foot. I mean, they've got great talent. They had well over 120 yards in penalties, scored 9 points, and another team that doesn't have their starting quarterback is trying to put some things together.
Let's go to this schedule here. All right. So I'm trying to get better graphics for you. This is very important here.
I love this. Thanks for the logo, my brother.
All right. I'm going to just bring this up. You can hear us talk still. So, all right. It's week 4, but also week 5. I know if you're new to this planet, it's very confusing here on the coast. But yes, some teams it's the 4th game. Maybe it's the 5th game. Okay. Here's the 3 games coming up for Allen, Brevard Sports Network. He's got Cocoa at Heritage, Vieira at Titusville, and Space Coast is going to host Astronaut. Allen, I know it's only Tuesday. What game are you going to be on the call for?
I'm going to be in North Brevard this week. I'm going to be at Titusville for the Vieira Hawks and the Titusville Terriers.
All right. I don't like this. Wait, these graphics are too crazy for me. All right. That's the real graphic I want. Okay. So you're going to be there 7 o'clock with the kickoff. And other games, Satellite at Cocoa Beach, and you're bringing up some of these others, MCC's on the road. Merritt Island's at home against Palm Bay. Rockledge at Seabreeze. All right, I just want to ask you this. Merritt Island. Is Merritt Island, are they underrated? How do you look at the Mustangs right now?
As the most complete team in Brevard County.
Okay, so then not underrated. You
No.
are the most complete team.
That doesn't necessarily make them the best. But I think they are. Let me put it to you this way. Right now, let's theoretically say this is the Kentucky Derby, okay? And they're off. And they come to the quarter pole, and there's Cocoa with a win over Merritt Island, right? Here comes O'Galley. Oh, O'Galley drops back. They lose to Vero Beach, right? They come to the three-quarter pole, whatever, right? I think that by the time this race finishes, I think Merritt Island has the chance to be the best team in this county over all the teams right now. Now, they're going to get a chance to prove it against O'Galley because they're going to play for a district championship. But they went up to DeLand. DeLand's a good football team. They're 3-0 now.
Yeah.
And they played in an absolute shootout. They lost 57-51. But I think, listen, and everybody's like, well, how can they be the most complete team, you idiot? They gave up 51 points. Well, they were going up against two of the best running backs in the state. Rick Darlington, the head coach of Deltona, runs a single wing. He's like the innovator of this offense for high school. If you can't stop it, you're in trouble, right? It was perfectly run. And that's what, I mean, look, they had one of those nights defensively. But I think they put I think they put some things on film to stop Cocoa. Yeah, I like Merritt Island.
I do too. All right, so I'm going to bring this up one more time. Yeah, so coming up this Friday night, 7 o'clock with the kickoff. Hopefully, weather permitting, we don't have any delays. We just start playing football on Friday. Yeah, Cocoa, I'm just trying to make sure I have this right. Cocoa at Heritage, Vieira at Titusville, Astronaut and Space Coast. Those are the kickoffs and games that Alan and his crew are going to be doing with Brevard Sports Network, and everyone else is going to be in action. It's going to be a lot of fun.
I do want to say one more thing. If you're looking for some good high school football this weekend, obviously we always talk about Heritage and Cocoa and Cocoa and O'Galley and this, that, and the other. There are two games that I specifically want to mention. The one is one that you can actually watch on Brevard Sports Network between Astronaut and Space Coast. You had Jake Owens on, despite the fact that Jake's a Bengals fan, and that's not really his fault.
That is a great guy.
Yeah,
hey,
let me just tell you,
he took a shot at you.
Jake, what's that?
He took a shot at you. Don't worry.
Oh, I'm sure he did. I got the LOL text from him on Sunday night, right? So that's going to be a great football game. But also the renewal of the Beach Bowl is this Friday night. And we don't have that one on Brevard Sports Network. But it's one of the best stories nobody's talking about is Satellite. They're 4-0, having moved to the SSAA. They got the winningest head coach in the history of Brevard County football as their head coach in Dan Burke. They're 4-0. They've pitched 3 shutouts to start the season. They won 46-7 Friday night. They're going to travel to Cocoa Beach and play Ted Kimmy and Cocoa Beach. They haven't played the Beach Bowl in 4 years. Awesome. The last time they played the Beach Bowl, Ted Kimmy was the head coach. Where?
At Satellite.
Correct. So that is a great storyline. That's a great atmosphere. The trophy is a big surfboard. Satellite's won 8 in a row. If you're looking for some high school football, go across the causeway and watch that game.
Yeah, that's a great shout out. It's funny in my phone, some of the coaches, I still have them under their old coaching. I think Ted Kimmy, it might still say Satellite. I might have to update that. Finally, one with this. We've gone about 50 minutes talking football. And by the way, this is a great time of year. This is awesome. Just all high school, college. You guys do Pee Wee football as well.
Oh, yeah.
What former, I'm going to put you on the spot because you posted this. What former Space Coast running back scored a touchdown on Sunday? Was he with Cleveland? Who scored? Who was it, Alan?
Raheem Rocket Sanders, baby. Chargers cut him. And the fans were pissed about it, man. And they were like, how can you cut this guy? Not only did he score a touchdown, Mark, but he picked up a critical 4th and 1 on that drive. Raheem Sanders played for Rockledge. He went to Arkansas first and then transferred to South Carolina, went undrafted, was signed as an undrafted free agent, a high priority undrafted free agent, by the way. And he's on the Cleveland Browns. He's in their backfield rotation.
So crazy. It's so like when you hear those stories where guys are just undrafted and then he'll probably play in the league for 7-8 years. It's so wild. Dude.
Now we have Jamel Dean. And listen, if Jamel's struggling a little bit, all right, because the Bucs yesterday, you saw what the Bucs did with Jamel Dean. They offered him a pay cut and they restructured his contract so he can be a free agent after the season. But they got Jamel Dean, Jawan Taylor. Now Chauncey Gardner's out with an ACL this year. And now we got Rocket Sanders in the NFL.
Dean had a crazy play. So you saw the end of the game.
Yeah.
So weird. So Penix on that final drive. All right. 2nd down throw. Antoine Winfield made a Hall of Fame level play where the ball's in the air, receiver's going to catch it, bang, hits the guy, ball comes out, incomplete. Then on 3rd down, Alan, it was so weird. Penix throws the ball. Dean just kind of brushes the receiver, screws up the timing. That should have been a touchdown. And then Koo misses the field goal. That was a wild game. Wild.
Yeah. And then we have Marcus, man. I'm not sure if Marcus is back with the Dolphins or not. I have to find out where Marcus is. But Brevard County's got great representation. Jamal Dean struggling a little bit.
Dude, Jawan Taylor. It's so wild. So there's like, what was it, a holding or a false start? And dude, Travis Kelce gets in his face and pushes and yells at him. Hey, get your head out of your ass. You got a block for us. So wild.
It's going to be an interesting year for Kansas City. I don't know.
They had 17 million people watch that game on YouTube for free. 17 million. Ding, ding. It's like Back to the Future. McFly, put more games on for free. People will watch.
Yeah, I'm with you, man.
Yeah. Alan Zlotorzynski. I don't know if this is the most professional conversation with my craziness, but it was all football talk. That's
listen, when we're talking in June, these are the days we live for.
Alan, thanks for your help. Have a great day, man.
See you, brother.